Okay, here I am in my van getting ready to install this Ampeak 2000 watt inverter. Okay, this is a seat that I don't use. I've already removed the seat back, and the reason I don't use this seat is, quite honestly, I don't need it. I have enough other seating in this van, so I use this with kind of a storage container on top. And also right here, you will see I have my really large refrigerator. So this will work out for me, although I may relocate it down to the underside of this seat. But on this particular vehicle, my batteries actually sit under this seat. So under that seat cushion is this seat base, which is additional storage, and under this is actually where my batteries sit. You can get to the side of the batteries from an outside compartment, but I assume they did this so the batteries couldn't be stolen easily. So the house batteries actually sit under here. So this is actually under the floor with this setup. So I can just jump these wires up and install this unit right here. And I will give Ampeak credit for this. This is a really nice instruction manual. It actually has color photographs, and it does explain things pretty well, including this lug cover system. You are going to remove the plastic nut, which will allow this cover to come off and give you easy access to your wires. So using the wrench that they included, we can get these lugs loose. Locking washers are included, so all we need to do is attach this cable, our locking washer, back on, tighten that down finger tight, get the wire straight, use our little wrench, a few turns to tighten him on down. Then we can put our plastic cover back on and the nut that holds it on. Clean installation compared to just having all of your connectors just stuck on the outside of a unit, which I have seen a lot of times. We'll do the same thing with our positive. Wire straight, a couple of turns to tighten it. Replace the cover. And these little nuts to hold the cover, these just need to be finger tight. The wiring on the unit is done. Now we need to simply wire this to the battery. And this unit has something like 17 types of protection into it, but I know some of you are going to get on me for not including any type of circuit breaker, any type of fuse. I am going to go ahead and install a circuit breaker in this, much like this circuit breaker system I have on my solar system. And it will just make it easier for any maintenance I'm doing in the future, swapping batteries out, things like that. Quick explanation on all of these wires. These two here are coming from my solar controller going down to a battery. Since I have this two battery system, there are these really large cables right here that jump from the batteries. So the energy from this battery can also go into this battery when needed. They kind of constantly balance each other out. And having batteries this way, you could have 2 this way, 4 this way, 3 this way, really doesn't matter. But this vehicle came with 1 battery. I was able, with doing just a little bit of cutting and trimming with a grinder, to have enough room to drop that second battery in. And this is a system I have been using for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years now. I am finally going to upgrade, I believe soon, into a lithium type system, but this has worked for me up to this point. The smaller gauge wires you see are running over to a 12 volt outlet, running over to USB outlets. These are, of course, the main connectors to the battery, so the battery will charge while I am driving down the road or using a generator. And next to them are the connectors. So this is the positive connector, this is the negative connector, and this is where our 2 main wires for this inverter will be going. The positive will go to this, the negative will go to this. We'll do the negative first. So that is what we end up with. That will give me enough slack to install this for now. If I move this, which is a good possibility once I decide where to put the main unit, then I can always just drill a couple of holes in here to run these wires through to negotiate to wherever I need to, or buy a longer set of cables if I end up needing to do that. But let's test this thing out. So it shows it is currently using 8 watts of power. We have nothing hooked to it at this point. That's just going to be the overhead that it needs in order to function. So if you aren't going to be using this for long periods of time, unless you have something to recharge your batteries constantly, I have solar panels going to the battery, so I'm fine, but it would be a good idea to turn that off when not using it. So let's put this thing through its paces. My refrigerator back here, while it is a 12-volt setup, also will run on this. So I will switch it over. You see it has recognized it. And you can see that wattage go up now. Refrigerator has cut on. It is a hot day. This is a monster unit. And you can see what this is pulling. So let's give this more of a test. I will have to use an extension cord, but I have a microwave oven in here. So we're going to make sure we can fire this Panasonic microwave, unplug it from its normal connector, put it into this extension cord. We have that plugged in. Now we want to watch our display. Now we're going to stress test this Ampeak, because this little microwave should be about 700 to 900 watts. And to really strain this, we are going to add a third device. So now we have the refrigerator, we'll have the microwave when I cut it back on, and we will have this sander. Refrigerator, we'll add the sander. And add the microwave. I've looked at a lot of ratings and reviews on this Ampeak brand. I've camped with someone who has one of these. I think it's a little bit lower wattage, but that they've had it for several years. They haven't had any problems out of there, so I expect this to provide a good long life and open up a lot of possibilities for me, especially in the summertime, especially if I'm picking up jobs when I'm out working in this camper van.